That's what I just said, and then you were like, no, it's fine.
Just say
Roll the clips! Roll the clips!
Hi everyone!
Hi everyone!
I'm Tessa.
And I'm Elly.
And welcome to our channel! Today, at the end of March 31st, 2021.
Is the date currently.
Today.
So it
right
will be
now.
out Friday.
On Friday. Usually we post on Fridays, remember
yes,
it.
Today's Wednesday.
Anyway, we are doing our March wrap-up today. There was some sort of reading slump in the middle that we had to get out of, but we did it.
But we did it.
We're going to be talking about the books we read, our favorite characters, what we rated them, a small summary about it,
and
we'll show you the book itself
show you,
because we own all of them, which is so fun.
Which is surprising.
Very surprising because we don't buy books. Just a preface of this video, there will be no spoilers with any of the books we mention, just how we felt about them this month. So keep watching at your discretion. I read 5 books this month.
And I read 3 books. 2 of these books we both read, so we'll both be able to give our opinions on them, which is great.
Anyway, I'll go first. So the first book that I read this month was Unwind by Neil Shusterman. I absolutely adore Neil Shusterman. As I've said before, Scythe is like one of my favorite series of his, and I think Unwind might take the cake at this point. It's really so good, and I love Shusterman's writing. A quick summary. The pro-choicers and pro-lifers had a war in this kind of dystopian society. It's more futuristic, it's more modern, the technology is very, very advanced, and they come to a conclusion to end this war on abortion. Every baby will be kept, but at any point between the ages of 13 and 18, they can be subject to unwinding by their parents. Unwinding is a surgical procedure to keep the victim alive as they take body parts out of them and put them in a divided state.
Ooh.
And it's pretty much organ donating, but like the victim's consciousness is still alive as their bodies are in someone else's body. It's very problematic, as you will read about. It sounds very strange, but I promise you it is an insane way to kind of deal with this abortion issue. And I think it puts life into perspective even more. It's just great. My favorite character has to be Rissa Ward. She's awesome. She's so strong. So powerful. Love her. I gave Unwind 5 stars.
5 stars. Great! Okay, so the first book I read this month was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. And this book, let me just tell you, it was the first book that I ever tabbed. Look at all these tabs. Amazing. I actually ran out of tabs. It would be so much more tabbed. This book is so good. I just suggest going into it with such a clear mind. So basically this book has like no really summary, but it's about a group of cousins, a family, and they're rich and they have this private island and they go in the summer and a bunch of events happen on this beach house. And on the back, it actually says, if anyone asks you how it ends, just lie. So basically, there's this huge twist at the end that leaves everyone that has read this
having to lie.
So that we
never give
we
it
can
away.
never share it. So I read this first, and I was like, Tessa, you need to read this. Drop whatever TBR you are. You need to read this. And she did. So I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars.
I rated it 5 out of 5 stars as well.
This was one of my first ever 5 out of 5 star book reviews in the past years. I cannot remember another 5 out of 5 star book.
We had very different reactions, although we rated it the same way. I sobbed my eyes out, and she kind of was just like...
I was just like, wow, but I didn't cry.
But she didn't sob.
I don't know.
I cry all the time, I'm sorry. Anyway, I have to say that my favorite character, honestly, I loved Myron so much. I loved Myron. She was so underrated.
So good.
And I just loved her. I just loved her.
I would probably say Johnny. He's just the comedic relief of the whole thing. He's so funny, and he's such a good cousin.
It had such personal value to us because we're super close with our cousins, and my mom and my aunt, they're identical twins, so we're even more close with our cousins.
With our cousins.
We're like brother and sisters, and we have a summer house that we go to, and it just reminds me of my family just making trouble.
It really
and
does. It really does.
It's amazing.
Like, this book, highly, highly recommend.
Recommend. I read Unwind, Then We Were Liars, and then I read The Dead Girls of Hysteria Hall by Katie Allender. I actually got it at the used bookstore when I went with my cousins a bit ago, and I was like, I kind of need a break from sobbing, because I sobbed at Unwind and I sobbed at We Were Liars, so I was like, I need a little scare. I need some horror in my sad reading life currently. So I picked this up. It's a pretty short read, pretty thin, and it's about our main character, Delia. Her aunt gives her the house that she lived in, and the aunt passed away, and it was in her will to give Delia her house. And they pull up to the house, and they realize that it's not really a house, it's actually an asylum. They find out later on that it actually was nicknamed Hysteria Hall, and I'm not going to give anything away because there's a major plot twist that happens in, like, the first chapter. And I do recommend, if any horror lovers want underrated horror books, the house tricks you and the madness will haunt you forever. That's pretty much what I will leave you with. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars just because, you know, I love the story and I love the setting. There was just some problems with the main character and kind of the story. Things that were missed and plot holes that weren't really covered, so it's a 4 out of 5 read. It's definitely a good horror book. It's really fast. My favorite character is definitely Maria. You don't meet her until like halfway through the book, but queen status. Thank you. Good night.
My next read was Six of Crows. So basically Six of Crows is like Ocean's 11 but with a bunch of teenagers in a gang. It is so good. I love each and every one of these characters so much, except for the villains, obviously. They're so annoying. Ew! I actually am just so in love with Cameron. He's my favorite character in this first book. By far. Fell in love with him.
Yes.
He's amazing. The twist in here, never saw coming. And I'm a detective when it comes to books. I really am. Didn't see these coming. Didn't see this coming. Maybe I'm off my mojo because this book, so good. Could not ask for anything better. I had no critiques. I thought it was amazing, so yeah.
We will be doing a Leigh Bardugo themed video where we will be discussing Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, and of course, Elly, who read the Shadow and Bone trilogy. She will put in her thoughts on those and possibly get me to read them, even though I have some hard feelings with Leigh Bardugo at the moment. The next book I read this month was Unholy by Neil Shusterman, which is the second installment in the Unwind series. It is phenomenal. I don't think Neil Shusterman can get any better than he is right now, in my own opinion. I love his story so much, and I would never want anything to change. Rissa remains to be my favorite character, even in this book. She's amazing, incredible, I love it. I can't really tell you the summary of this because it deals with a lot of spoilers with the first book, so if you're at all interested in the premise, I think that you should just read it. There's 4 books in the series, and then there's a 5th book that's just stories of the Unwind world. But I will be finishing the series, so I will keep you all updated. This was a 5 out of 5 read. Very enjoyable.
So the next book and the last book we both read was Crooked Kingdom, and you kind of saw in the first video she was reading, and then the second video I was reading it. Okay, let me just tell you something. Remember in the first video when I was like, I never cried during books. I didn't cry during We Were Liars. I didn't cry during Six of Crows. I've never cried at a book except for one in my life. About half an hour before we started filming this video, I was bawling my eyes out because at the end, and I won't spoil it, but let's just say something happened. Let's just say something happened.
Something not good.
I'm fine. This is fine. 5 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars.
For
5
me
out
as
of
well.
5 stars.
I have a bone to pick with Leigh Bardugo because, as I have said, I have been, on countless occasions, bored by her writing, which is an opinion, and it's how I perceived her writing, but I still gave it 5 out of 5 stars because I don't critique the writing, I just kind of talk about the story, and I absolutely adored the story.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah, and I can totally agree. There were some points where I was like, all these words, I'm not really understanding it, but then like a couple pages later, she explains it.
I don't judge by how the content is written. I judge by the content itself, and the book is a 5 out of 5 storyline, 5 out of 5 plot. Characters are great.
Really is.
My favorite character, it really has to be a tie because I absolutely adore these two, and I have since Six of Crows. So I just love Jesper and I love Nina. They're just my favorites.
They're so good. Okay, so like the main Six Crows are just all insane.
Oh yeah.
But I have a very deep love for Matthias in Crooked Kingdom. I love him. He is the perfect fictional male character ever. He is amazing. I just love Matthias so much. He is
great.
Just amazing. I can't say enough. I can't say enough. He's just, I love him. My love for Kaz Brecker, like, I still love you.
We love you.
I love them all. Wylan, Jesper.
My baby!
Come on, Wylan. Oh, they're so cute.
Now that we're finished with our ratings and our likes and dislikes about the books, if any of you want to know more, all of our full reviews are written on Goodreads for these stories and our ratings on Bookstagram, so you can check those out. And if you have any questions for us or any recommendations, you may leave them in the comments.
We may or may not have done really good on some grades recently, and so we want to spoil ourselves and get some books, but we really need recommendations. I just want to know a really good book. It's really worth the hype, because I don't want to spend like my money on something that's like iffy,
good.
you know? These, everyone go buy them. Everyone go buy them. Thank you. We'll see you later.
We have gotten to the portion of the video where we show our current read. And we've actually been really good with our current reads for the past 3 weeks when we've done videos. We were like, we might not get to books, blah, 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 blah. But we've actually finished books within weeks, so that's pretty fun. So our current reads, as of now, are... And so, just short summaries about the two of them. This book is Unsold by Neil Shusterman. It's the 3rd installment of the Unwind series. Again, I don't want to say the summary because it will spoil some of the things that I have already not told you about because it would spoil it. But I'm very excited to continue on because I absolutely love the story and the characters, and it just brings me so much serotonin.
So my book is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, and this book I bought in January, didn't get to read in January, didn't get to read in February, didn't get to read in March, and now I'm finally reading it, and I am so excited about this book. I'm actually reading it with my friend because we both got it, and it's about 2 boys that get like called to their death, and they meet, and they don't know each other beforehand, and they have 1 day, 24 hours to live out like a whole lifetime of fun, and it sounds so good. I've heard that I'm probably gonna bawl at the end, which I didn't think that was possible, but after Six of Crows, you never know. I
think that's all we have for you today. Follow our socials, subscribe, turn your notifications on, and tell people about us, because we want to have a big community of book lovers and bookworms so that we can share our recs and we can get recs from you. We can just cry together about Six of Crows.
Yeah,
and
we could.
Anyways, I'm Tessa.
And I'm Elly.
And this is the Sister